talking through each bit of kit
Yeah, and
and what it's used for.
that's exactly what I'm going to do here. What I've done is basically kind of tried to show an integration between live and the Roland AIRA gear here. And again, this gear is amazing, and I'm kind of show you how it works. But this isn't the be-all and end-all for me, right? I have different things that I play with, but this stuff is pretty cool. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm going to start with kind of the thing that got the buzz first, and this was the TR8 over here. This is a drum machine. The TR8 is actually based on, Roland had two main drum machines that were kind of the basis for hip-hop and techno, and they were the 808 and 909. And so this originally, when it first came out, it came equipped with two kits. It came equipped with a 808 kit and a 909 kit. And it has actually now got two more kits involved, the 707 and the 727. So there's like basically 4 drum machines that are sitting inside of here right now. What's really neat about this, it has the TR step sequencer to it. And if you could see right up here, there's a step sequencer, and each one of these buttons across here are a step, a measure in time. So you guys know there's beats and bars and whatever. So what I'm going to show you, and how I have this set up right now, is we're going to talk about this probably last, the MX1, the mixer of everything. But everything is slave to Ableton over here. And so basically inside of Ableton here, Ableton is the master clock. So whatever BPM I select inside of Ableton, everything else gets sunk to. And it's pretty amazing how well everything gets sunk together. So I'm just going to start this here. And you're going to see, as I select this, this is our step sequence here. Right, so this is moving right now at 126 beats per minute. It should be less predictable. It's always 126. Okay, and as I trigger a step, they turn red, and that means that a sound is going to be played at that time. Okay, so right now we always start with the bass drum. That's why we love this music right here, just because of this. Okay, and I'm going to stand up for a sec here. Okay, so this is our bass drum, and thanks, dude. And it's pretty cool. There are actually 4 parameters up here that you can shape your kick drum. One's the tune of it, so you can find the tune that's right for you. It actually has compression to it, so this is no compression. And as you add compression to it, gets thicker. Okay, then we have the attack. So at this is basically when the sample is triggered. Basically the head, if you will, of the transient. Right. So if we bring so this is a no attack or very little attack, and there's a nice hard attack. Okay, and then we have the decay, and that's how long it kind of sticks around for. How long as that sound is triggered. So you can see as I bring down the decay, you hear it's more of a click. And as I bring up the decay, it's a fatter sound. Okay? So right now, kind of what I'm going to show you, and this is another thing that, again, most of us here, I assume, are house and techno heads, right? But one of the biggest things that we have to do is when we're making music is try to figure out what genre we're creating. With the term genre, there's a less friendly term, which is generic, right? But I try to tell people, when you're making music, if you want to make house and techno music, you need to understand that there are some generic expectations that are there, where the kick drum hits, where the hats go. And especially, I think in electronic music or in house and techno, the drums are obviously kind of critical to that. So right now I just have the bass drum selected, right? And I'm going to work my way down here. And as I select down here, I'm also changing the instrument that I'm playing. In this case, obviously, they're all drum instruments. Okay? So you can hear here that this is the snare drum, and it's pretty Pretty generic drum pattern so far, but it's really neat. Once I kind of add the close hats with my 13-year-olds, right? As soon as I bring this up, all of a sudden their heads start bobbing and they kind of get it, you know? Oh, okay, I know that music, you know? And I play that for my mom and she's like, that's disco, you know? And disco became house and whatever. I played my mom actually Inner City this morning, Good Love or Big Fun, I forget which one. She's like, that's disco, Justin. And I'm like, well, that's also the reason why Detroit techno is what Detroit techno is, okay? And so through here we have 11 different instruments that could be played. And let me stop this for a sec. We have 11 different drum samples that can be played. And this is known as a kit. So we have 11 instruments that make a kit. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 across. So I'm going to show you actually 3 of the kits actually right now. So if I play this again, and then I go over to my kits, right now I have kit 1 selected. See how those all became white? And so that's this right now is my 808 kit. And then if I move over to this one, there's more of a 909 kit. And you can hear the kind of the generic, I hear that and I think old school techno right there. You know, that kick drum and those really, really sharp hi-hats, you know, and those same sharp hi-hats of the 909 are what a lot of house music is using now, you know, or even a lot of the drum codey guys are using a lot of that too, and like the harder techno, you got the little bit sharper kick drum or hi-hat where I like the tinier kind of, I guess, brighter one of the 808. And it was funny because years ago, before I started really producing, I had a good friend of mine, and he would say, he could tell right away, that's an 808 kick, that's a 909 hat. And it took me a minute to kind of get an understanding of all those. So anyways, but here we go. So, and then this right here is the 909. And then we go, this is a 707, yep. And then we have a 727 kit in here. But I haven't lined this one up that well yet. There's some whistle in there and stuff, but I don't know if you guys are feeling that right now. All right. So basically, this is kind of the backbone, I guess, of the TR-8 right there. Has some really cool features. I'm going to go back to the 808 here. Okay, and let's. Okay, it has a feature up here called scatter, and this is this knob in the corner here. And actually, all the AIRA gear have this scatter function. It's super, super cool, and it's basically like a onboard remixer for you. So you could take it, and you choose the depth of it, and that basically means how deep the effect's going to happen. And so I can go here, and then. And it just does some really interesting fills and kind of weird things. And you can end up finding some really cool patterns to use to do some cool things with. And I believe this is new with the update. Now you can actually hold down depth and then hit the on button. And then it does it for 1 bar and then releases itself. So yeah, that's kind of the ins and outs, the basics of the TR. I want to make sure I touch on everything. So there's some really cool effects to it, and you can actually put reverb and delay on an individual step of the whole pattern, or you could do it on an individual step of a single sound, like a single hit. So the second clap can have delay, whereas the first clap can have reverb if you chose to, or whatever. The next thing I'm going to show you guys here is the System 1. And this is cool. It's kind of built around the idea of Roland's SH-101. Basically, it has onboard sounds and the System 1 sounds. And then you could take Roland's pretty cool thing called plug-out technology. So what they do is you could basically take a software, right, a VST, and either load it into here, so I could switch to the plug-out side of things. So this one is your plug-out button. Basically, you can load any, I think there's 3 or 4 right now that are plug-out-able. And so you can load it into here and play it live. And also those plug-out ones sit on your computer as VSTs too.
So you can actually play it without a laptop.
Exactly,
okay, cool.
Exactly. And that's the thing, what you kind of have to realize here is every single thing here, especially with the MX1 now, you can kind of abandon your laptop and just go audio out of here, and boom, you're all set. So what I'm going to show you this right now, how I have it set up right now for your purposes, for our purposes actually, is I have it set up using the arpeggiator that's built in inside of it and the hold button. We'll show you that in a second, but you can see, I want to keep that patch, but you can see that's it's a pretty rich kind of sounding synthesizer, and you can do a lot of real fun things with it, and especially the low end for bass lines are pretty solid, and that's what I kind of have it set up for right now. So I'm going to show you basically kind of how I would set it up or incorporate it together, right? So we'll launch this, and with the arpeggiator, if you guys are aware of aren't aware of what an arpeggiator is, it basically plays notes just by holding. It'll play continuously while holding down a key, right? So I turn on my arpeggiator, and you can see I'm just holding down a key, and if I shift it, I'm changing the parameters, basically changing it from playing one note to going up and down, or you can get it to rise or get it to descend, whatever. And right now I have it at 8th note. So this is playing at an 8th note, and you can speed it up to a 16th note, bring it down to a quarter note, and quarter note's actually the lowest that you can go. And then from here, so I can use a hold key, and this is pretty cool too, to kind of, again, to jam out, get ideas. I put the key hold down. Now I could use my and I can kind of muck about and do whatever I like with it, you know, and kind of play around from there. And so that's kind of the system one. To get deeper into it could take like a month of these things. So kind of showing you guys that, and then we'll show you guys how kind of all this works together. Up here we have the TB3. I could just randomly experiment and program in different notes. So this is a keyboard here. And the one thing that I always do when I'm teaching or kind of showing people how to do things, you kind of hear that sound, and it doesn't make as much sense until you throw in a kick drum. And I don't want to get too much into that because I want to show you guys kind of everything together. I was kind of jumping ahead of myself, but this also has a really cool scatter feature where as you get it going, and you can do some kind of interesting remixy things. And you know, a big thing with this is, again, in a live performance, it could be used in one way, but you could also take all this same stuff and just basically press record on live or whatever your DAW is and kind of start jamming out and finding really cool things. Either that, or when you find something, hit record, and it's inside there. You know, so that's the TB3 for right now. And the VT3, it's probably like, actually brought all this gear to my 7th grade class and just had them playing around with things. I set it up. Actually, we're doing a Roland thing, and we basically debuted this, the MX-1 in Windsor. So I had all the gear in my car, and I brought it to my students. I set up my classroom. And they were playing around with this, with the VT3 here, and check, 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 check. All right. So this is basically a voice transformer. So as you can see, sounds pretty normal right now. I have a little bit of reverb. Okay, there we go. So that's gone. And but as I change,
make my voice sound really weird and kind of do some fun things with it. So
there's a whole bunch of different. Actually, I could just go like this. I could have been talking through this the whole time. There's a whole bunch of presets for it that you can kind of play around with.
yeah, and with this we can take this and pitch it right down. Markham's coming on next. Had a song called Techno Vocals. That's the way we make techno.
So I don't know if you guys can even understand me there, but you could do a lot of fun stuff kind of with that together, you know. And to basically take all this stuff and tie it together, you have actually it's a pretty amazing kit for very affordable for hardware these days, that's for sure. And all this stuff right now is fed directly into the MX1. And what amazes me is each one of these are solely connected with USB. So all the audio that we've been demonstrating here has been traveling solely through USB. And actually the only output is coming from the MX1 to the mixer right here. So everything, the TR8, the System 1, the VT3, the TB3, and actually my computer are all running into here via USB, and then audio out from here. And the MX1 itself, so it has a number of travel channels. Right now, I'm using 5 channels, and it has attached to it, if you can see up here, beat effects, and as well as master effects. So effects that can actually go over top of the beat. So let me pull up the, the beat effects would go based on wherever you are, wherever you want it to fall. Okay, so let me bring this back up again if I can. Okay, and if I can select the beat effects for this one, and I'm going to put it on side chain. So it's actually ducking the audio under the predetermined steps on the step sequencer up here, and which is pretty amazing. So you can see if I want a quarter note side chain, it's there. If I want a quarter note filter, or if I want an eighth note filter. I forgot. And better be careful with the sound system here. And what's amazing about this too, and I use it a lot because I use it when I DJ, and this is kind of what we're talking about. Like there's certainly a relationship between how I DJ and how I produce, and kind of how I experiment. And what I learn as a DJ, I try to also put into my my live set or whatever, my DJ set. And it has a filter, a high pass, low pass filter built into it. And you can see here as well, there's channel faders on the bottom. So basically I'm feeding all the audio into the MX1, and then the MX1 is spitting everything into live. So I could actually record inside live if I chose to as I'm jamming, and then it's coming out back into the MX1 and out, which is something that I thought was pretty cool, because I'm used to bringing audio in one way and then out another way, not kind of funneling back and forth. And that's what's really cool about the MX1 as well.
Cool, man. So maybe we could have a little jam and see how that works together, and then we'll give you guys a chance to ask some questions.
Yeah, okay.
everyone's looking at me. Can you say hi ho? Hi ho. Everyone hi ho. You their glasses hi ho. Yes, you hi ho. Yeah. So we're still doing this. This is my normal voice. It's not as impressive as this. Can you give me something funky?
All right.
That's just us jamming out real quick with, actually zero rehearsal, and kind of just building something together here, and that's what I think making music should be about, just having fun, and whether it's with a friend or whether it's by yourself, just jamming, and if you enjoy it, other people are going to. If you don't, they're not going to either, I guess.
Any questions from anyone?
When you're doing your live set, are you just kind of making the music up as you go along, or do you have a sense of what you want to do with the gear, or?
Me playing out is different than me in the studio. And I guess what we were kind of messing around with here was just kind of doing it more studio-based, And right now I'm a DJ. I play my music, I play other people's music, and then I add a live element by bringing in Ableton over top, mostly for percussion and effects and stuff like that. So I definitely have a vision in mind when I'm going that way. But in the studio, it's a little bit different, right? Because again, as I said earlier, kind of staying with conventions is part of it, And like you need to have a kick drum that's kind of working on the 4 on the floor, right? You need to have your percussion that's in there, and it's where you take the other stuff, the other elements, and kind of that's what makes this an art form, right? It's all an art form, but what kind of what everyone can do is write the beats, write the generic part of it. It's what makes 2 different horror movies, one better than the other. Blair Witch, which was amazing years ago. I just think I dated myself there. But versus something else, versus the bad one. There was a new twist to it that made it stand out, right? And that's a big thing that we have to do as artists is instead of trying to recreating what other people do and our influences, take those influences and create something brand new, right? But still under the guise of techno or house music.
I'm just wondering, when you're playing live with all of the step sequencers and such, do you run it through a maximizer to keep the signal like comparable to what the actual tracks sound like?
That's a good question. When I run things through live, like in this case, I have live kind of at the end here. And you can run a limiter on live or whatever. The MX1 actually has in itself its own kind of limiter, a mastering limiter that'll kind of squeeze everything and kind of make it fit and stay at home. Like everything sounds together. But I put a limiter on the master chain so that things aren't going crazy and peaking, especially if I like kind of over affect something.